Hello and welcome to Walking Through Transformation. My name is Britta and I am your Ascension Midwife. And today's episode is episode number 7. We're talking about sacred space. As you can see, I'm sitting on the floor on a block, on a yoga block, actually, to be correct. And I'm sitting here on this yoga block on the floor because I've been having technical difficulties. And that's also why I didn't have a video come out last weekend because so many things went wrong, and then the holder for the phone broke. And I had to really kind of just give myself permission to feel all of the frustration, all of the like, but I wanted to get it out. And what am I going to do? So I tried doing it outside, but I wasn't happy with it. And I was really getting into that space of, remember when I said in these last videos, keep letting it go. When you're out there, you're not in your center. Well, that's where I found myself. I was, well, how can I do it? I was trying to fix it. And I was getting, in my head. When I do this, it means I'm in my head, right? So I was in my head trying to fix it, wanting to get it done, wanting to do it, but it just wasn't right. And so I was getting myself all into it, all lost in that space of, but I want to do it. I got to do it. What do I do? How do I fix it? And then I finally realized, okay, hang on. What are you doing? What's going on? Breath, breath, breath. Let it go, let it go, let it go. And so I found my breath again and I let it go. And I was like, it's okay. It's a process. I am learning. It's a learning curve. And I was able to support myself very lovingly, letting myself know that it doesn't have to be perfect. Rome wasn't built in one day. Let's have fun with it. Let's enjoy the learning process. We're just going to keep getting better and better and better with it. And that's part of what this is about. It's about moving into this self alignment. And as I was giving myself permission to be, and as I was giving myself permission to let go and accept my learning curve with technology and my learning curve with these videos and my learning curve with this process for myself, I was able to hear and feel my guidance again. Ta-da! And of course, as I was relaxing and breathing back into my center, my guidance, my soul came in saying, well, but this is perfect. You've been wanting to talk about sacred space, and isn't it better if you show it? Because you need to be able to touch the floor and open up and have a much wider span to show it all. And I was like, oh yes, that's right. So, I just wanted to give you a little example of how these inner conversations, this inner exchange can really go, right? And how it goes for me, of course, everybody has their own inner exchange, but this is certainly how it went for me. So here we are, slightly different setup, and this is why. And I realized that this is going to keep changing. And I have to keep reminding myself of that. That is the fun of it. That is the evolution. That is the process. That is the transformation. And so I hope you enjoy watching me move through my transformation as I'm here sharing with you about transformation. Okay, good. And so I hope you're all feeling well. I hope you're all feeling and breathing as the energies have been really interesting. It's been fluctuating. Some days are quite peaceful, other days are really intense. We're moving into eclipse season. which is going to keep shifting us into more self-realization. It's going to keep shifting us into even deeper knowledge of ourselves and what we want and not want, and what we like and don't like, and what we want to choose for ourselves. So we're going to deepen more so over these next 4 or 5 months, and then, of course, years to come. But this is going to be a very interesting process. So I'm happy to be here with you. And from here, let's go ahead and let's get into sacred space. And so, sacred space has many different meanings. But in regard to the example that I gave you of myself going through this process with technology and things not working and me getting all up into it, I was holding sacred space for myself. I was holding space for myself as I was supporting myself, as I was telling myself, hey, it's okay, let it go. Remember, you're learning. Remember, enjoy this learning, right? So as I was supporting myself, I was holding sacred space for myself. And this is really truly the most important way of you relating to sacred space. Of course, I do that daily for my clients. So always, always, always in the beginning of my day, I open up sacred space for the day. And then individually for each session with each client, I open up sacred space again. And then after each client, I close sacred space with that client. The reason for this is because when I open up sacred space for my clients, I not only call in my support team and my ancestors and spirit helpers and crew, but I also invite their support team in. I invite in their angels and their guides and their ancestors and their spirit helpers to be of assistance. And I'm a stickler for light. I'm a stickler for purity and clarity. And so when I open up sacred space, I mean it, because I know the difference. I've seen the difference. Very early on, when I was beginning my shaman training, and I was in an ayahuasca ceremony, I learned the difference. I saw the difference. I mean, sacred space has always been a part of my work and my personal preference, but it was in this ceremony that you take the medicine and you go through your journey, and then I have to go to the bathroom. So the shaman that was holding the ceremony, he was singing and chanting the entire time and really holding sacred space. And while I was in sacred space within the room, it was beautiful. I felt very safe, very light, and I was able to just freely journey. And then I had to go to the bathroom. So I got up and I walked to the bathroom, and it was palpable. Leaving sacred space, leaving that room, it was literally walking out of high dimensional frequency of light into the other space. And I went to the bathroom and I came back to the space, to the room where we were all in. And it was, again, I could see it. It was just a light grid that was so firm. Not only could I see it, but I walked into it and I could feel it as I was entering it. And that is really the power of somebody who really cares about your safety and somebody who's very well experienced. And I strongly encourage you to make sure you get people that are very experienced and take your safety very seriously, because the difference between somebody holding sacred space and goofing around and not holding sacred space, I have also been witness to, right? So I have had clients come to me that did a ceremony with a shaman who wasn't serious about holding sacred space. And critters come in, lower dimensional energies and consciousnesses and beings, they come in. And not only do they come in, but because you are in a vulnerable place, you are open, you are dimension traveling, you are receiving information, you are not meant to be the one that has to be careful watching out. And most people that are, participants don't even know. They can't see it yet. And so I've had lots of clients come in that had entities attached to them, that had critters, that had their energies blown out, simply because the environment and the space was not safe. And so this is where I'm going to come around to also sharing with you that here on Earth, we're still living in a war zone, right? Anything still goes. We're still, even though anchored in fifth dimension, we're still experiencing third dimensional density. There's still a lot of hatred. There's still a lot of darkness. And I'm not just saying within people, but there are a lot of energies, entities, ghosts, souls walking around, critters walking around here on Earth that are not of the light. And I'm not saying be scared, because they're just in fear, they're just living in fear, but I'm saying be aware, right? Because these lower energies, these souls, these spirits, these beings, these critters, they are looking for a host. They're looking to feed off of somebody. They are looking to get into a space where they feel safe, right? Because most of them are lost. Every now and then you get one that's actually evil, that's actually really, really dark. So that happens too, yes. But most of them are just really scared and alone and lost. And they just, are looking for somebody that is open and unprotected, and boop, they attach, right? And so, yet again, this is the other reason why sacred space is going to become much more important for you as we are journeying through this transformation, as we are moving through this experience, because as you're opening up more and you're meditating and you're writing and you're doing breath work and you're calling in angels, you're calling in guides, you're calling in beings, right? And so you have to realize that you don't know the difference yet. And until you know the difference of who's in and who's here and who's not, for you to become more aware of sacred space and for you to really work with sacred space is going to become more and more and more important, because the darkness is fighting for its survival. Yes, and so that's the other side. So here is sacred space, holding sacred space for yourself, holding space for yourself in everyday moments. But this is also about you really holding sacred space for yourself when you are going into deepening work, whether it's meditation, like I said, anything that opens you, deepens you, right? It's an awareness that you need to accept. It's a fact. And then also sacred space for another. Holding space for somebody that you love, holding space for their healing, holding space for their growth, holding space for them coming to an awareness, right? Is also something very beautiful to do. So the way that I'm holding sacred space when I open sacred space for my clients is very similar to that. When I open up sacred space for my clients for the session, I hold space for them, for the deepest healing, for the greatest awareness and light embodiment and illumination. And I always ask for them to receive on the deepest level everything that their soul is ready for. Right? So, as deep as the healing can go, that's what I'm holding space for. And so, in partnership, oftentimes in relationship, we're holding space for the other to grow, to heal, to come to an awareness, or to find themselves in their truth. And, that is a practice in and of itself because, and this is a funny, sweet little client example that I want to share with you. A client of mine, she's a healer herself. And so her husband is beginning to open up. Her husband is beginning to want to heal more and become more aware and conscious, and which is wonderful, right? But because she's a healer naturally, she has the tendency to just want to help and reach in and assist and get into his space. And that was causing a lot of friction and a lot of enmeshment between their energies. And of course, that's not healthy and that's not what we want. And it was really interesting as she was in session with me, the guidance for her came in and it was saying, holding space for your loved one, my dear, does not mean be up all in their space. And we were cracking up because spirit is very funny. They're very humorous. And she got it in that moment, though. She really realized that, oh, that's right. That's right. I can't be all up in his energy and helping him and maneuvering him and directing him. That's not holding space. That's me being the fixer. I don't want to be the fixer. So she really backed up and owned her own space again, which of course is the mature, is the advanced way of being. We want to become aware of that. All we ever need to take responsibility for is our own energy space, the aura, the arms extended all the way out to the fingertips, and this entire space to the sides, but also up above the head and below the feet. And so from here, let's go ahead and let's start opening up sacred space. So I am going to show you what I do, and then I will explain it for you afterwards, okay? Breath. The breath always leads the way. With the breath, I control energy, I move energy, I direct energy, I direct light. Breath and intention. Good. So from here, what I do, I place my hands onto the ground, wherever you are. Ground is fine. And then from here, I open up sacred space, inviting in only the highest, clearest, purest, and brightest energies and vibrations, respectfully requesting for all of my light family members. Angels, masters, guides, spirit helpers, spirit guides, ancestors, gods, goddesses, highest beings of my lineage, for all to be present, please, and to be of assistance with any release, adjustments, attunements, guidance, or further information wanting to be brought forth. And please be of assistance with holding this space sacred and safe within the light. And from here, I am opening up all of the release channels, including Michael's tunnel. And with deep love and with deep gratitude, I am accepting this help as done. And so it is, and so it be. Amen. Placing the hands back onto the ground. Good. So you might want to interpret this in your own way in terms of who you are calling in. So let's go step by step. What I first do is when I place the hands on the ground, and then I bring my hands up, and then I open it up in a circle, right? And so what I'm doing is I'm bringing up the earth vibration. Remember the grounding, the importance of the grounding? Yes, we always want to open up earth energy to set the foundation for your sacred space, right? Bringing up the earth vibration means you're opening up the foundation for your sacred space. So that's what this is, right? Opening up sacred space. So here I've now created the opening from the earth up, and I see it, right? So this is the other important part. When you do this, when you open up the earth sacred space, bringing up the earth vibration, see it, sense it, feel it, visualize it, play make believe if you have to. There's nothing wrong with playing make believe, right? It's just, when you played make believe when you were a child, when you were small, it was real. And it still is real. It's just that these parts of your brain have come a little contracted, a little closed, but it'll open it up again. The more you visualize it, the more you intend it, the more you use your breath, and the more you are actually knowing what you are doing, the more it becomes your reality. And it will become more so your reality as we are anchoring you in fifth dimension further and further and deeper and deeper. But remember, grounding is an absolute must because your light needs earth in order for it to embody. Right? Okay, good. So one more time. Breath. The breath always leads the way. And I am opening up sacred space. And here you're filling up the space right now with earth. Take your time. Get a sense for it. Bringing up earth. You're filling up your space with earth vibration, setting up the foundation, right? Good. And visualize it, see it, sense it, feel it. Whatever earth vibration looks like or feels like to you is perfectly fine. Good. And then from here, next is, and I am inviting in, right? And so you're inviting up. You're inviting up to the heavens. You're inviting in. I am inviting in only the highest, brightest, lightest, and clearest energies and vibrations. Because you always, always, always want to only invite in the purest, the lightest. And then you're opening up that space, and now the light vibration is able to settle into the earth vibration. The two unite, the two become one. And that's what makes it so solid. Right? So letting the light vibration fill in, and from here, inviting in specifically your family members, your light family members. And so this is where you can be flexible in terms of who do you want to invite in. Do you have anybody specific? Maybe a family member that has passed. Anybody really that you feel would make you feel very safe. Call in your guides, call in the angels, any and all angels that you feel familiar with. A lot of people work with Archangel Michael. He's a very, very helpful angel, and he's always there. He's always ready to help out. So he's definitely somebody for you to be bringing in if you feel comfortable with that. Of course, you can bring in the higher avatars. You can bring in Mother Mary. You can bring in Jesus Christ. You can bring in Buddha, Krishna, right? Whoever you feel connected with, whoever you feel close to in regard to your belief set, in regard to your religious background, your comfort zone there. And As you're bringing them in, you're inviting them in. See, I bring in a big crew. I have a very big crew that helps, obviously, with much bigger work when I work with clients where we remove entities or possessions and such things. So I do need a big, strong crew for that. But for you, for starters, just to get used to it, just for you to get a sense for that when you have invited them in to come and join you. Take a moment. Don't rush. There is no need to rush it. Settle into that feeling of that they are there. They're with you. Maybe you can see them. Maybe you can sense them. Maybe you can feel them. Maybe you can hear them. Right? Takes time. It takes time to open up the sensory. This is just the foundation, just to get yourself into a nice, solid, safe space. And then I've opened up all of the release channels, including Michael's tunnel. And so for you, this may or may not be something that you feel you want to do because the release channel is a vacuum. You might only want to do Michael's tunnel, opening up the release channels of Michael's tunnel. And Michael's tunnel, again, is Archangel Michael, who's set up this beautiful form, this way of releasing any clearing. So in your mind's eye, think of where this Michael's tunnel will be, straight up through the roof, out the window, right? Know where it is for you and intend for that's where it's going to be. That's its location. And Michael's tunnel, for you to have that release channel to be open, would be very important if you are planning to do a meditation where there's going to be release. If you're doing inner child work with yourself, if you're doing any kind of clearing work whatsoever, you want to have a place where this can go. And Michael's tunnel is a vacuum, right? It's Archangel Michael setting this up for us to much more easily, much more effortlessly to just clear stuff up. Because when you clear energy, unless you conform it, where is it going to go? You're just going to drop it, right? You're just going to drop it around you and on the floor. So that's not where we want it to be. So you open up the release channels. For you, perhaps, you open up the release channel of Michael's tunnel. If this is what you feel you want to do, clear some, right? Release some. Know in your mind's eye where it is. See it, feel it. And then from here, you're asking all of your helpers to be of assistance with any release, adjustments, attunements, guidance, or further information wanting to be brought forth, right? So letting them know you want to be open to hearing, feeling, sensing, knowing, and also ask them to please be of assistance with the protection of the space. And then, so it is, and so it be. Amen. And you touch the floor again. And so obviously you're going to have to watch this video a few times so you get the hang of it, right? Because remember, learning curve, we all have our ways in which we have learning curves. So now that you've opened up sacred space, you don't even have to do anything. Just get used to it. Play with it. Start having it be something you do for yourself, to feel loved, to feel protected, to keep yourself in that light space. Or if you want to get into work, do meditation in this space, or writing work, or breath work, or reading, or candle gazing. Whatever it is that you feel inclined you want to do that. And like I've said before, you can also open up sacred space for yourself and then bring it with you. So in this case, you would not open up any release channel, right? You would just open up the sacred space for yourself, bring in your support team, and then ask them to please protect you and support you as you're walking into this meeting, or as you're walking into that conversation, or as you are about to go to that place, and for them to come with you and for them to guide you, right? And so then you come back home, or you finish what you're doing in your sacred space, perhaps the meditation or breath work or inner child work, whatever it is that maybe you were doing with yourself. And then, similarly to what I do, after I have finished the session with my client, now we've done the work, we're feeling safe and secure, and we've released energy, and right, we've brought in light and illuminated, which is what I do with my clients. Then from here, at the end of the session, before the client even gets up, now it's time to close sacred space. And then we do this again. We touch the floor again. And I say out loud, I am closing sacred space. So from here, as you can see, I go straight out. I don't do up. I go from the floor out. I am closing sacred space, right? So what I'm doing is I'm bringing earth back in, right? Touching the floor and turning the circle out immediately, as if I'm packing it in. I'm packing in the earth vibration. I'm closing sacred space. Thanking all of you helpers, all of you beings, angels, masters, guides, spirit helpers, spirit guides, ancestors, light being, gods, goddesses. Thank you all for your love, your presence, your patience, your infinite guidance and support. We love you and we appreciate you so very much. And then if you have opened the release channels, then at this point you will also want to close them again. And from here, we are ready to please close all of the release channels, including Michael's tunnel. Closing Michael's tunnel. See it, intend it. Breathe. The breath always moves it. The breath always completes it. The breath is your connection. And from here, as you've said your farewell and the release channels are closed, you're accepting all of this help as done, and so it is, and so it be. Amen. And I'm going to do this one more time without any explanation. I'm just going to do what I do. Good. And I'm closing sacred space. Thanking all of you helpers, all of you beings, angels, masters, guides, spirit helpers, spirit guides, ancestors. Thank you all for your love, your presence, your patience, your infinite guidance and support. We love you. We appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And from here, let's also please close all of the release channels, including Michael's tunnel. Thank you. And from here, with deep love and with deep gratitude, I am accepting all of this help as done. And so it is, and so it be. Amen. Right? Always start with the hands on the floor and end it with the hands on the floor. And so opening is this way, bringing the earth into the space, and closing is out and then in, closing up the earth, right? Always remembering, always coming with the understanding that foundation is earth vibration. Your soul cannot play human without a body. Your light cannot embody without earth vibration. Without Mother Earth, we wouldn't be here. And when in doubt, breathe and ground yourself. There's nothing more important to your transformation than your grounding. And the more you work with earth, the more you will become aware and your sensory will open. And people that are in nature a lot know this to be the truth. When you're in nature, you're so much closer to the light. You can see the grid. You feel the oneness, the energy interconnecting every tree, you with the tree, right? We feel that in nature because nature is light. And earth is light. Earth is created by source, by the light. And it is really, truly what we must honor and what we must learn to work with so much more consciously. Good. So I hope this video was helpful. Please feel free to give me any questions or comments in the box below, in the comment box. I would love to hear your thoughts or questions or comments on it. And if you have any suggestions as to what else you want to learn or you're interested in hearing about. And thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because this is the way that you can get the new video markings, right? And also, please feel free to like the video if you did like it. And from here, until next time, thank you so much. And love and light blessings to you and yours. Bye-bye.